It was a beautiful, idyllic summer's day in Ponyville, and an exceptional one at that. The sky was clear and peerlessly sapphire. It seemed to literally glow in the light of the sun like an incomprehensibly massive gemstone. Not a cloud dared intrude on the sky, and seemingly the only things permitted to trespass upon it were happily singing birds and equally jubilant pegasi out to enjoy the rich thermals and cool cross breeze. More landlocked ponies flocked in droves to the local pond, and by midday the water was packed with playing ponies having the time of their lives. Others lounged in the shade around trees and under umbrella-protected patios, enjoying chilled drinks, or else racing their rapidly melting frozen treats. Any pony who didn't have to be working wasn't. Those who were dearly wished they weren't. By rights, it was a day to kick back and enjoy. And, of course, Twilight Sparkle was too distracted to do just that. She trudged along a familiar dirt road at her own pace, looking weary. She kept her eyes down, watching the ground slip by beneath her as she did everything not to do something she'd never had to do before. Not think. In particular, not think about a book. It was an unprecedented event, one that she never thought she'd live to see the day of its occurrence. And yet, here she was. Why Rarity had decided to spontaneously lend her one of her stories was beyond Twilight. She practically guarded her treasure trove, for lack of a better word, of the trashy romance novels she possessed, so her unexpected gift caught Twilight completely by surprise. Now, the Purple Unicorn had a near unconditional love for any book out there, but 50 Shades of Hay was pushing it. She'd gone into it optimistic. After all, a good read never hurt any pony. Or so she thought. Now, she needed to get her mind off that thing. It was starting to affect her in a none too healthy way. So here she was, trudging up the path to a familiar apple orchard, desperately in need of company that didn't involve that. Twilight shivered, despite the warm day.
Oh, I hope Applejack's not busy like the others.
Despite only having a trio of workers tending to its every need, Sweet Apple Acres seemed somehow brighter and more vibrant than anywhere else in town. Either that was Twilight's imagination, or it was a true testament to the hard work of the ponies calling the orchard home. Of course, at the moment, the farm looked deserted, as was typical at that time of day. The only sign of life at all was the creak of a rocking chair on the porch. Upon closer investigation, Twilight's suspicions were proven right. Granny Smith was sound asleep in her favourite rocking chair on her favourite piece of real estate on one side of the porch. How she could rock and snore at the same time was a skill Twilight would never be able to fathom, that was for sure. Rather than try to dissect her technique, Twilight turned her attention elsewhere. Twilight had not exactly been hoping to find Applejack very quickly. With a property as big as hers, it could take several hours to locate the Orange Farm pony. So, one can imagine Twilight's delighted surprise when she spotted that very orange mare just as she stepped out from around one side of the barn.
Applejack!
She called, waving. AJ came to a halt and looked around, perplexed.
Twi? What are you doing around these parts?
Twilight smiled as she approached.
Oh, I just thought I'd come visit. That is, if you're not busy, of course.
The purple mare had not failed to notice how sweaty her friend was, or that she seemed to be slightly out of breath. If she wasn't working, she'd literally just come off the job. To her relief, Applejack shook her head.
I could sure use a break from all that booking,
she admitted, smiling almost wearily. Twilight flinched ever so slightly. She scolded herself.
Oh, come on. She's not talking about that. Bucky?
Twilight heard herself ask before she could stop herself.
Yep.
Applejack responded proudly.
Been booking all day. Been quite a while since I've gone at it like this.
He's not talking about that. She's not talking about that.
Yes, ma'am. Nothing like a good booking to get me in a good mood.
Twilight stood very still, her pupils starting to shrink as she processed what was being given to her. Applejack swept her Stetson from her head and wiped a hoof across her brow, ignorant of her friend's discomfort.
And to think, a while ago I was just booking myself. Big Mike, he ain't never helped me if he could avoid it. He's got his own load to deal with.
Twilight gulped nervously.
Big Mac?
Again, Applejack did not seem to hear her. She just kept talking, eager to share.
So I gotta thank you, Twi. I didn't say nothing before, but you and the gals sure know how to book.
Twilight's eye twitched. It was not a small twitch either. It was a dangerous sort of spasm, one that inevitably heralded a spiral into madness.
Wait a minute, we never booked together?
Sure we did.
Applejack laughed.
Sure you weren't real experienced, but you gave it one heck of a go.
But I never...
Twilight gagged. Meanwhile, she was hastily replaying every conceivable memory she had of the apple farmer just to be safe. After all, she barely knew anything about that. What if...
Not just you neither.
Applejack went on, smiling fondly.
I can't tell you how tickled I was when Fluttershy tried her hoof at it. She sure was gentle, though. Like she thought she'd hurt something.
Applejack could not help but laugh.
So I showed her what a proper pounding is like. Think she learned something, too.
Now, Twilight was getting pale.
No. I misunderstood. Applejack wouldn't. Would she?
Applejack tilted her hat back, turning to smile out towards Ponyville, looking bemused.
And Pinkie Pie, woo-wee, let me tell you, she's one huffle, that one. But I'm sure you know all about that.
No, not at all.
Twilight squeaked. Applejack blinked at her, surprised.
Really? I find that kind of hard to believe.
Why?
Twilight asked, despite herself, fully knowing that she really didn't want to know the answer.
Well, you two always seem to be joined at the hip. I would have bet bits you were probing her for all you're worth.
Twilight could only stare in horror.
Probing?
Yep.
Applejack replied, clearly proud of her observation.
Every time I see you two, you're going at it like there's gonna be no tomorrow.
Twilight was becoming very pale indeed.
Now that I think about it,
Applejack added, becoming pensive.
That's a lot like how Rare and I used to be. Always going at it. Sometimes I wonder if we ever did anything else.
But...
Twilight argued weakly, grasping for straws.
You and Rarity are always so friendly.
I know,
Applejack said with a sigh.
But you're not around all the time. When it's only behind closed doors that a pony really lays into me.
There was that eye twitch again.
Of course, she mellowed out a whole heck of a lot. She does her thing and I do my thing and we're both happy.
Like a breakup?
Twilight ventured before she could stop herself. Luckily, Applejack did not notice when her friend clapped her hooves over her muzzle in horror. She was too busy laughing good-naturedly.
We ain't never been like that, but sure, why not?
How Twilight could get any paler was beyond her. Pretty soon she'd start turning white.
They did that sort of thing without being... Oh, wow.
She was so completely and utterly confused that she almost missed Applejack's next words.
Of course, now I got Rainbow giving me a hoof. Don't rightly know what brought it on, but I'm sure glad she decided to.
Twilight gave Applejack a truly disturbed look now, looking like a pony on the brink of sanity.
No, she doesn't mean... Rainbow?
Yep,
Applejack replied happily.
And let me tell you, that mare knows a thing or two about bucking.
What?
Twilight cried, aghast. Once more, Applejack missed it.
I know, right? I think she read a book on how to do it properly, but that gal don't read nothing with that dare and do on the cover.
But Rainbow...
Twilight muttered, horror welling still further. She had heard rumors about the prismatic Pegasus, more than she cared to relate, but not once did she ever entertain the possibility that they might actually be true. But with Applejack of all ponies. Twilight licked her lips, suddenly feeling quite faint. No, this had to be a misunderstanding. Applejack was just talking about a different kind of bucking, and going at it, and...
She's got mighty nice form, too.
Applejack roused Twilight from her downward spiral into madness, if only to send her on another crash course of sorts.
Don't picture Rainbow's flank. Don't picture, rainbows, flank, tote. Oh, Celestia, damn it.
She does this little thing with her hips while she's booking too. I ain't got the heart to tell her, but it's one of the cutest things I've ever seen. Don't tell her I said that though. Having her around to offer a hoof when I get a hankering for a good booking is mighty...
Applejack jumped in surprise at Twilight's shriek. Without pausing a moment longer to let Applejack's words pervert her mind further, Twilight spun on her heel and tore away in the opposite direction, still screaming her head off, even long after she'd disappeared.
I don't want to think this, I don't want to think this, I don't want to think this, I don't want to think this. Get out of my head. I do not need these mental images. Go away, go away, go away, go away.
Huh, mumbled Applejack, blinking in surprise.
I wonder what's got her all riled up.
Hey, Applejack!
The farm pony in question turned her head, raising her eyes a bit to regard the Pegasus looking back at her from her perch on the Apple family barn's roof.
There you are, Rainbow. I was wondering where you flew off to. We ain't done, you know.
Yeah, I know.
The rainbow-maned mare said back, waving her hoof dismissively.
But what was all that about?
What, Twilight?
Applejack looked from Dash to a distant, screaming thicket.
I ain't got the foggiest.
Rainbow spread her wings and lightly flapped down to a standstill beside Applejack, her eyes following the farmer's. For a long time they were quiet, both lost in thought, until finally Rainbow glanced sideways.
So, did you tell her?
Applejack sighed, rolling her eyes.
No, I did not tell her we just had sex.
Oh, good. I wouldn't want to explain to her how much you love the D.